What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to give you a good breakdown of what the data behind the scenes is all saying, where I do see Lucid going, at least in the short term, and some driving factors as well that's adding a lot of pressure to Lucid. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So when it comes down to Lucid, there's really two reasons that it's going down because. One of which is some recent data points coming from an economic standpoint. The second of which is just technicals. As you can see, based on stochastic, it was very much overbought, similar to a lot of other stocks as well. So I think right now this is a little bit more of a consolidation period. There isn't any specific news for Lucid as much as I'm sure a lot of investors would absolutely love some news or some PR, but there isn't any. So like I said, it's just those two factors that is really going and causing Lucid to go down almost about 9%. So it is a little bit extreme in my opinion. So there might be a little bit more of a value rally that does enter in, but I think as well shorts have entered and caused a lot of damage to Lucid behind the scenes. So I'll give you a quick update on that. When it comes down to this, so this is the intraday options for Lucid. Over the last 2 weeks, give or take, there's been a lot of calls being purchased. But today, and a little bit more from yesterday as well, looks like the tides are turning. So a lot more puts are being purchased, insinuating a downtrend is coming. I don't know why behind the scenes. Maybe they're just basing it off of the technicals and just assuming that there is going to be a little bit more of a consolidation period coming, but definitely something to watch for. But looking here, based on the hot chains, it does look like around $8 is a very big pivot point, both for puts and calls. As far as puts, there was 19,852 as far as volume just today. So $8 is a very big support and also resistance. It's going to be a very big battle if it ever does get back to that $8 range. So definitely something to watch for. As I always do, I like to give you updates on the secondary market and dark pool. But right here is all the secondary market transactions and very low. So these are all transactions over 100,000, but definitely shows that there is a kind of a reduction in buying, most likely coming from the institutions. So something as well you need to factor in, maybe they are foreseeing something bad coming from an economic standpoint. I'm not really sure at this stage in the game because a lot of the data points right now is for the most part pretty optimistic. A lot of institutions have started to once again come out with a little bit more of a bearish sentiment on the broader economy, which is weird because 2 weeks ago they were giving a little bit more optimistic stance because of the outlook coming from China. So they're flip-flopping quite a lot because they don't generally know where things are going either. But as you can see, this is all the dark pool transactions. So it is relatively high. You do see this snippet right here. So 1.29, 1.53, and $1.42 million per transaction. So that's fairly good. So it goes to show that big money, most likely based on what the price it was sold at, was in fact buys. But still, when it comes down to dark pool, a lot of people don't necessarily like it because, like I already mentioned, it's very much linked to shorts. So I'll give you a quick update on that. When it comes down to shorts, the short score is 91, extremely high. Utilization is 100%, showing 100% of the available shares to short are currently out. And when it comes to it, 26.54% of the free float is in fact being shorted. So that is mind-blowingly high. If you ever compare, for instance, Lucid to Tesla, Rivian, any other EV, Lucid, oddly enough, has a higher short interest. So there's a lot more people betting on Lucid to fail than almost any other company. So definitely it's always been something that's bothered me a lot because fundamentally, I think Lucid does have a lot of good opportunity versus, for instance, Rivian. I think Lucid is going to far exceed the success than Rivian, but Rivian has a short interest of around 8% right now, compared to Lucid is around 27%. So definitely something behind the scenes is not jiving. But right now, shorts are in fact returning 695.42 thousand shares, which does in fact bring the grand total to 171.66 million shares. Cost to borrow is 61%, give or take, so that's also high. Keep in mind, I'm only bringing this up as a good benchmark. I'm not here to say Lucid is or is not going to squeeze, even though fundamentally it has everything that could. But I just want to bring it up because these are the individuals that are clearly betting against Lucid. But when it comes to it though, there's also this. So this is the latest round of 13Fs, and a lot of institutions have been reducing their position. So I think overall there was a lot of fear that did occur in Q4. So most likely I do and will anticipate a little bit more of a continuation of institutions reducing their position, because Q4 was extremely fearful. A lot of people were just screaming recession over and over, and I think right now Lucid is one of the better stocks to tax harvest for those institutions that were doing that, as also probably could be said for retail as well. But one thing that I've actually also noticed that's lacking is just analysts. So analysts haven't really been focusing on Lucid as much as they most likely should be, because the latest one was by CFRA, which they did give it on January the 12th, a $8 price target. And I already did do a video on CRFA on how they shouldn't be trusted, because they came out with an article saying that in 2023, Lucid's going to file bankruptcy most likely. So very funny behind the scenes, but beside the point, I think more analysts will be looking at Lucid once they do have good earnings, whether it be from the Q4, potentially Q1. Something is going to really appeal to a lot of investors. My own interpretation, of course. And when it comes down to technicals, I love technicals, and right now it's kind of in a very big pivot point. So there's a lot of psychological support levels as of right now, and it looks like actually 3 o'clock did hit, so it did close in at $7.45 officially. Don't know what's happening after hours right now, but like I mentioned already, stochastic very much overbought, so it was overdue for a little bit more of a consolidation pullback. Momentum number of retail investors are getting out today. RSI is also at 46, and I think in general around the $7.07, that is the central part of the Bollinger Band, and if it does break below that, then most likely there will be new 52-week lows that do come. In a perfect world, I do anticipate the consolidation period only kind of reaching that and bouncing and trending higher. So there's a lot of different things that could play out with Lucid, and like I said, a lot of fear, a lot of institutions that don't necessarily know exactly where things are going, and they're just trying to predict exactly what the future might bring, as is myself and everyone else here. But the best way how to eliminate all of that headaches and stuff like that is just to believe in Lucid. Look at it, do your own due diligence, because as well, like I've already said, and I always say I'm not a financial advisor, but do your own due diligence. Trust Lucid's bigger picture and invest in the long term. That is where you're going to be making the most money. A couple months from now, a lot of people might not see it as optimistic as probably it should be, but a couple months from now, a lot of people will be wishing that they did buy in at these levels. But let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. And with that said though, on a side note, I think tomorrow I'm going to be doing a live stream for Lucid, dedicated to only Lucid. So definitely make sure you guys pop over for that as well. It'll probably be during the morning-ish, I anticipate. But I appreciate all you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.